Hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. You have to just give me one moment here. I'm cleaning my glasses real quick. And so, while I do, I imagine the eye tracking is probably better than usual because they're not a bunch of dusty old frames in the middle of it all. Although I do have the distinct issue of, you know when you take the cap off of a bottle of lens cleaner and you spray your glasses, and during the course of that you put the cap to the lens cleaner down, and after you finished spraying and whatnot and you put the bottle back down and you reach to try to figure out where the cap went, the caps are clear a lot of the time, or at least on every one that I've ever owned. They're always just like pure plastic, and the lighting in my room isn't that great, so it makes it kind of hard to find them sometimes. But anyway, I'm almost done, I promise. But I could have just not started the stream until I did this, but I kind of like chatting a teensy bit about nothing in particular right at the start of a stream. You know, to just make everyone on YouTube in the VODs just never watch any of the rest of it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it was funny. I mentioned this the other day that I did show a couple of my friends one of the VODs from the other day with one of the great deductions. That's better. And it made me happy to see them like laugh and smile at my terrible British accents and things. So I'm hoping that if I can make my my friends who aren't really too into video games laugh with a little bit of deductive nonsense, that I hope that I can bring a little bit of happiness to your life too. Now, let's get started. Introspection aside, it's time to begin the second part of the trial, which is quite exciting.
Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand.
Oh, Ollie's sweating.
I presume you heard the defense's counsel summation examination.
Oh, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov. I did.
Sorry, I'm giving them totally different voices than last time, and that's intentional. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
God blimey.
This is going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Winterbanks.
Well, it was Ben Lamsoon's it, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out of my lossy lockets.
However, that was a lie. You brothers.
God blimey.
On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter.
We never done nothing of the sort. How'd you find that out?
You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question, and this time, you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment.
Oh, damn.
And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again.
A thought worth pondering, perhaps.
Say no more, Gov. We hear ya. Or blab. Or squeak. Or peach.
Illegal entry, the whole truth.
Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshot, see? Made us both jump. Oh, let's stop them flying. Blimey, didn't have a good fright. We was thinking the shooter would come out the door and get us next. We stuck everything back when we found him, scabbard, straight to him in the back. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we?
So you admit to the defense's accusation? You did indeed ransack Mr. Winnowing's countertop with the knight in question.
Yeah, no ransack of no. That's right, Nash, that's right. It's all more like we tidied up, yeah. Sorry.
By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess.
The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't you make us sound a bit more cutthroat?
It can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Winterbanks that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it. Alright, time to get to pressing. If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place?
Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted something like that, people would think we was up to no good. Well said, Ringo. Well, you know, China. We won't let ourselves in even more trouble.
And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourself in even more trouble.
Well, that's rotten luck,
says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter?
We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like we tied the place up. Sorry.
Look at those cheeks. So, what you're saying is... the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much, you knocked all those things off the counter?
Well, it shocked one of us that much, yeah. The back of nose needs to learn to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, alright? Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up to that bang. Big Bovia screamed like a blooming baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, candlestick, and some skull whatnot. That got tangled up in some marionette. Would knocked over a picture frame, would knocked them scales on the floor.
You've really mastered walking quietly then.
Racket. Me granny would have been scared back into the grave back like that.
So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise.
And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden, blam!
Excuse me.
Oh, shoot. I've just realized, I think... yeah, hold on, sorry. Apologies if you've been having double audio from the game at all. My audio settings weren't going all the way through. Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add?
Like I keep saying, don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels.
No, something to add about the testimony. You seem to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something?
It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it, only... no. The fact is, cases don't get solved if you know the little details.
How about you just tell us what's on your mind?
As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for questioning last night. And the statement they gave them told a slightly different story to what they're saying now.
Well, did it?
You claimed you heard the victim shout something before the gunshot.
Might have, guy. Might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it.
Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony, eh, fellas? If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them.
Hey, easy, easy. We'll get right it. We'll get it right this time. That's it. Yeah. All coming back to me now.
Then speak. supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs.
Oh, hello. Hi. Hi, Mitsuri. I use my VTube model when I play this game. Not always, but doing silly voices for all the characters makes me not want to be on camera, I guess, because it makes me self-conscious, so it's a little bit easier for me. And I had a lot of fun like a month and a half or something ago, maybe? Like a month and a half or something ago, making the VTuber myself. So if it seems very jank, it's because it was made in a weekend, after a weekend of doing tutorials and learning about how to make one in the first place, and I am not an artist, so but I'm glad you're enjoying it. It was fun to make, though, I will say. I streamed part of it too. Anyway, happy to have you back here. What you are, Gov? I love his cheeks. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun!"
Hold it!
So, in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Gov. We did. Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we had a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun! Bam! Kind of thing. A career in acting tragically missed. And where were the voices coming from? Could you tell? Of course we could. From the other side of that door, behind the counter, it was. From the storeroom, where the victim was found dead.
And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Winterbank.
On me granny's life, of course it was. On his granny's life, of course it was. So, that would mean that you both knew Mr. Winterbank and the sound of his voice? So that would mean what? What an ash for? Any ideas?
Yes, Counsel, indeed it would.
No, we didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to do that when that bloke and all the fancy club and giving us the evil eye?
If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true.
On me granny's life it is. On his granny's life it must be. It's a good job his granny's dead.
To summarize, then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them all over the shop floor.
You make it sound like we're clumsy. Don't forget we tied it up after like good little boys. Anyway, the way I see it. The bloke what owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl.
Hold it!
You're saying that Mr. Winterbank had a gun in his hands? Oh yeah, bet that was a sight, eh? Them two waving them guns at each other. Must have got pretty heated. I mean, just before he shouted out, you heard the geezer say, "If you don't want to get shot." Didn't really sound like he meant it, mind. More of an empty threat, you could say.
Mr. Winterbank was known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd readily put a bullet in someone's head if required. That someone being himself, of course. Good grief! Extraordinary devotion, indeed, if alarmingly misguided.
Yeah. Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Well, only the person he was gonna shoot beat him to it. Cooked his goose proper. Bet he wished he'd squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me that gun." And it was directly after those words that you heard the gunshot. It was more or less at the same time, Gov. "Give me that gun!" Bam! Kind of thing. Yes. occur in acting very tragically missed.
Then we heard the sound of someone hitting the deck, before everything went dead quiet. After that, we done a slapdash job tying the place up. Lummy, it didn't have to get me off right. I was thinking the shooter would come out the door and get us next.
So, you didn't try to open the storeroom door then?
Nor in her life. It went deathly quiet after that, it did. Put the wind right up me. But anyway, the door was locked, wasn't it? No way that was opening.
Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside. Or so we've been led to believe.
It was, Gov, it was. From the inside. Right. So I had no way of knowing what was going on there, did we?
Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like through the keyhole, or spy hole, perhaps.
Don't ring no bells. Don't light no lights. We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth in this game, you see. But one day, we'd really cut the mustard.
Please, cut it out.
But as we know, behind that door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away.
Yes, unfortunately. Gina was there, unconscious, with the gun in her hand.
To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom?
That's right, Gov. That's right.
Couldn't have if we'd wanted to.
We stuck everything back where we found it and scuppered. Strained them in the black.
Hold it!
Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herrlock's Shomes.
Oh, yeah, we was a bit hasty there. We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when you lot turned up. If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss. Good advice. Truth be told, my mind went totally blank. Before your mind gets totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note made, miss. After that, we laid it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy to the coppers or something. So they clapped the derbies on us like Wilkin.
And after you'd been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct?
Well, yeah. But listen, that proves it, doesn't it, eh? We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never had a chance, did we?
And why should we believe that?
Yeah, well, because it's true, ain't it? The place was totally empty when we went in.
At that time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these two witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Winterbank. Correct?
You got it, mister. Down to a T.
So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Winterbank. Is that really true, I wonder? That's it. That's the full extent of the testimony.
What is it, Bruno? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired.
Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh. But I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something. Something important. It is nothing more than a feeling, though. I've no proof to support it.
Well, feelings can be very logical at times.
Sorry. People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose. You can take all that in, and your brain will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling like you described. You conclude there's something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why. That's all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. And I must be 1. Okay, so I'm going to save real quick just because we've gone through the entirety and we've pressed on everything, which does take some time. All right, so something is off. Iris kind of seemed to be alluding to like probably like pursuing, but let's see here. I admit, since we went long a little bit yesterday, I've forgotten all of the evidence that we have. So do we have anything that could prove that they were there, I guess? I mean, there is some contradictions in their things here. Wait, so the bloke what owned the place was holding a gun, so he should just fire himself at the end of the girl. Like, I'm wondering if I can like contradict things on that. Because like we know, I mean, like Winterbank got shot, so how could he get shot at if the gun was in like his hand? But ruffling for nothing. I really enjoy the like nonsense British slang words, everything around here. I wonder if I should examine the guns at all. I'm gonna assume that it's not really gonna say anything. Yeah, the cylinder is empty. Because like from the sounds of it, there were only 2 shots, which is fine, but I mean, it is interesting testimony that they just gave, though. Is there anything like weird about this particular gun? So there's ammunition still loaded in 5 of this revolver's 6 chambers. Yes, which tells us that only a single shot has been fired from it. Exactly. The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it? Yes, it happened almost as soon as we walked in through Winterbeck's door. Well, make those brothers pay. Okay, so there's 5 bullets in this one, none in the other, but we know he only ever had 1 in there, so only 1 shot per. But there's this, though, which is confusing. Like, this is direct contradiction to that. Wait a minute, hold on. If he says that he saw the bloke holding the gun... Wait, what? That doesn't work with the last thing I said, right? Whoops, shoot. I'll go back. Okay, so I'm going to try to present the evidence of Ginny holding the gun as a contradiction to what they're saying, even though it feels like a really bad idea. Because, like, we're trying to prove Gina's innocence. So, being like, oh, it wasn't Winterbanks that was holding a gun, it was our friend, Gina, kind of seems like a bad idea. I'm going to try this. You're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Winterbank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture? Yes, Nash, yes, no question. And yet, the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winterbank was not in possession of a firearm of any description.
Objection!
You surprise me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? See, that's what I'm saying. Oh no. Have I walked right into a trap?
Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel.
Yeah, that's right. 2 right, Nash, 2 right. The old geezer could have been about to turn the tables on the girl, eh? Hardly likely.
No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, counsel, and heed my earlier warning, witnesses.
Wait, does it not damage me? Huh. Okay. Well, that's extraordinarily forgiving. The fact that it didn't take away one of my little health bar things because of this. I mean, it is a contradiction, so it's just kind of a bad thing, I guess, that we did. He was thinking the shooter coming out of the door would get us next. Stuck everything back where we found it. Yeah. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker. We never had a chance. Is there any way that we can prove that they did have a chance, I guess? None of that. The manuscript. None of that. That has nothing to do with the trial at the moment. The paper doesn't seem related at all. Time of death from 131. Oh, right. Coroner Dr. Stevens. Single bullet wound in the upper half of victim's back. No other trauma. Instant death. On a gently rising trajectory. We never had the chance. I mean, they're not wrong, right? Like... I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, honestly. Is there anything in here that contradicts anything of what they were saying, I guess? I suppose I should, you know, I'm just gonna like examine the evidence, I guess. You have to pocket 2 prints in here to start with. Can we actually examine it that way? Like, does it actually do anything? Or is it just her telling us about how stereoscopes work again? Does this pop it open? It does. Well, that's nice. Look at that. It's totally changed shape. Alright, you're just like Hurley. You boys love pressing buttons, don't you? Especially you don't know what they do. Us boys, says the 10-year-old girl. Okay. That's great and all. It's just too bad that like there's no like random option to actually like use it. You know what I'm saying? Like on our evidence, I mean. None of this is useful. This bit is the thing that's throwing me off. This is the thing that I'm getting at a bit more. I want to press on this again just to see. Because if they saw him holding the gun, then they saw him. Which means that he wasn't... that he was in the main room? Or that they were in the back room, or they were looking through the people. Oh, I guess they're saying they heard it. We know that. More or less the same time. But why? Okay, but he was shot in the back though. Maybe that's the part of the problem. That he was shot in the back, but like their acting would indicate that like they were talking to each other and that he was probably facing her. There's the autopsy report. I'll give it a shot again, I guess. I don't think it's going to work, though. Let's just consider the implications of that statement for a moment, shall we? Nope. Nope. There are no implications, apparently. Ugh. Okay. I'm a little bit lost. So you should have just fired it instead of yelling at the girl. Well, then you were thinking that Mr. Windibanks was going to come after you. We never had the chance. See, that the never had a chance thing is the part that's making me think that that's it that I need to figure out, but I don't know how to prove it, I guess. They're hiding something. Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. I wonder if I want to reload. Like, I know that it's just giving back that one little heart or whatever badge, but we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing.
Hold it!
Maybe I'll just go through and press again. Not exactly squeaky clean. The thing is like they're both so expressive that it's not like there's really a lot to pursue besides Gregson, right? Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We didn't do it. They tidied it all up. So none of this is new. Is there any difference? Like on the counter itself? Like there's the doll, the skull, the like scales and a tiny piece of paper or something there. And then the dog, the lamp, etc. And then in this picture, that's still there. This is busted though. So actually maybe this is... Hold on. Maybe it's that. But we weren't rifling for nothing. I mean, he's saying that he knocked things over though, so it's not really a contradiction.
Objection!
No, it's not doing anything. The music can stop.
There's clearly something odd here indeed. Your behavior, Counsel.
Oh, ha. Please don't mind me.
It'll be significantly easier if you would lower your hand.
I won't lower my hand until I prove my client's innocence. As long as it's quite quick. So not that. Maybe it's this one.
Objection!
No. No, it's nope. Nope, he's just gonna yell at me, and I'd rather not listen to him yell at me. Okay, so it's not those. Like, those are things that show that stuff happened between the two. We know this happened. Like, this is shot from their gun. Because that was the one that hit Sholmes. Maybe it's... Wait. No, that's the secrets and the pawnbroker stuff. So that's not really anything. A single wound to the man's back. Oh boy, I don't know. Okay, they didn't try to open the storeroom. And the door was locked. So they tried the door. Wait a minute. Whoa. Wait, how do they know who was holding the gun if they never looked? I don't know how I would like press on that though. Like, I don't have evidence that works against that idea at all, right? Gina was in there with the gun in her hand. And they're saying they never went in there. And that they couldn't have if they wanted to. That... This statement... Couldn't have if we wanted to. I mean, because it was locked. The shooter come out and get us next. Well,
Objection.
No. Kind of feeling like I'm at the stage where it's like, oh, just guess everything until it works properly, which is not a good place to be for this type of game. And I feel like this hasn't happened that much with this game, where like most of the time things have been pretty clear after like a little bit of thinking, but this is a tricky testimony. Give me the gun. Wait, well, so according to this, then Gina was yelling, "Give me that gun." So Gina was probably trying to stop him from shooting himself, honestly. Right flip or nothing.
Hold it.
I mean, they're lying. Like, we know that they're lying here. But it's not a pursuit option. And there's nothing missing, though. It's the thing, like, I don't have any evidence to present on it. Right? Although, there's the pawnbroker ticket for the box. If they were going after the box on behalf of Mick Yoda's employer or something, maybe. But there's nothing that they've said that would indicate that that's what they're going for. So he should have just fired it instead of yelling at the girl. This gun.
Objection.
Can I like prove that they couldn't have possibly seen it? No. I am getting close to just looking this up. Which I don't want to do. It would, if I knew which one to press on, maybe I could figure it out. I was thinking the shooter come out the door and get us next.
Hold it.
You fired your own gun at Mr. Herrlock Shones. Couldn't have shot the pawnbroker. Place was totally empty when we went in. They never laid eyes on the proprietor. That's wrong, though. Never encountered Mr. Windbank. How do I prove that they did? How could I possibly prove that they have met Mr. Windbank before? Because let's think. We have the tickets would be the thing that would be the obvious stuff, I guess, that they've met before. Do I have anything that links them to him? This is a box, which we assume is Mr. Owned by the victim. None of these indicate. Yeah, none of these indicated. An overcoat. Iris's manuscript can't have anything to do with this. The gilded case notes also not so much. Today's paper doesn't seem like it would tie anyone to it. Instant death, no trauma. From 1 to 1:30. Where was murdered in the storeroom. The powder burn is still something that's like giving me pause. The gun that Gina was holding. Photograph of Gina. None of this proves... Whoops. None of this proves any kind of connection between them. The stereoscope doesn't do anything. And then we're back around at the beginning again. Huh. We did knock a few things over. We weren't rifling. Ah, man. Alright. I'm gonna see if I can find one of those, like, spoiler-free guides where, like, it doesn't tell you everything. It just, like, hints at things, maybe. Let me see if I can find it, perhaps. Sorry, I'm looking to see where it is. Yeah, well, I'm trying not to get it spoiled, honestly. Like, the Steam guides, there are spoiler-free ones that typically do pretty well. Which is good. Let's see. Cross-examination. Press statement 2 when he reacts pursued Gregson. We've done that. Okay. So it's statement 3. Okay. Oh, the amount of scroll was too much, so it told me exactly what to do. But okay. Well, anything to not waste all your time. So it's statement 3 that's the issue. The bloke would own the place was holding the gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. So this, were to present this to this, which I guess is this about how, like, they're saying that, like, they've got themselves turned around.
Objection.
I guess we'll find out. Let me make the guide disappear because I don't want to see any of it. I didn't scroll any further than that though. So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Winterbank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct?
That's it, Gov. You want the picture? Yes, Nash, yes, no question.
And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winterbank was not holding a firearm of any description. Oh. Oh. Man, that is... Well, I mean, that's true, but, did anyone else even think about that? Gosh, that is obtuse. Like, his hands are gun-free. This is true.
You what? Gordon Bennett, that ain't right.
Objection!
There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Winterbank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hands.
Yeah, that mole tooler used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun. Bam! Kind of thing.
Hold it!
Stay exactly where you are, right there. If the crime had taken place as you've so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out.
Goodness, are you sure, counsel?
You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where's the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? It's what I was saying before, which is the shot in the back.
Take that!
According to the testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot.
Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe.
Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. So, as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. God, I love how short he is. The box.
That is the God's honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. When he was shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand. We saw with our own bloody eyes.
Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Winterbank holding a gun?
Yeah. Something like that might have slipped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question they actually saw, with their own eyes, the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite the testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person.
Yeah, sure. No!
The limiter is working, I hope, by the way. I hope I'm not like screaming through your speakers.
Order! 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 Witnesses, explain yourself at once.
Yeah, the thing is, it wasn't supposed to,
It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you.
Am I to understand that you replaced the untruth of your original testimony with renewed lies?
Yeah, it was so sorry, Governor. Truth is, cut it out, Nash. Cut it out. I'm glad now you know what it'll do to us.
Hey, who are they talking about? Let me make your position here perfectly clear.
You will talk. There's no other option available to you.
Oh, come on, the game's up. But I forgot it. In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place.
Yeah, well, do we have to?
On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth.
Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Yeah, gun, he bellowed. And he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we'd had it. Oh, old geezer, the book was strong as ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all happened. I swear.
So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry.
Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably.
But we're honest, Governor, this time. This time, Nash. This time. We ain't got nothing more to hide.
Very well. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. God, he's literally so intense right now. Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and he was sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Winterbank. Who out? Sorry, I mean that's right. We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was going to come out of the back room like that. The back room being the pawnbroker's storeroom. Yeah, that must be where he popped it from. Only place it could have been.
So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises.
Which means Ginny must have been there at the point it us as well. But that doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina had threatened Mr. Winterbank into the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived? I don't know. Did you see the accused at that time? What? That mole jeweler? Couldn't tell you. Oh, wait, Cobber. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it.
Hold it!
You mentioned that Mr. Winterbank shouted these words in your previous testimony too. However, you claim that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door. Oh, did we? But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Well, yeah.
Was the victim, Mr. Winterbank, wielding a gun at the time?
Was he ever? Blimey, lummy. A great ugly barrel he had, pointed straight at me frontispiece. So, what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Winterbank with the gun at that time. Is that right? It is, Gov, it is. Spot on. Then all of a sudden he came at us, he did. It was Bedlam. I know who was going for who. You were clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought you had it. I mean... So, he threw him over the counter. So that must be how the lamp broke, right? Which is right before we arrived. Because Herrlock and Naruhodo and Susato saw the light on in the pawnbrokery, then went in
and then the lights went out.
Hold it!
But that would have made sense, because there would have been no time for Windibank to get into the back storeroom? Now I'm confused how any of the chronology goes. Yes, I noted that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too. Yeah, of course we did. You knocked over a load of books, candlestick, and some skull whatnot. They got tangled in some marionette. What knocked over a picture frame. What knocked them scales on the floor. So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter. Well, big Bravio went flying over that counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. Then the old geezer pinned him. He did, now she did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a blooming pancake in seconds. At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via a secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There is a button on the counter used to activate it, which is presumably pressed by the victim. That's right. When the brothers fled the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they? Poor Mr. Windibank. He did everything he could to protect his shop. I pulled my gun on him, and he laid it through that door into the back room, which I assume is when he got shot, perhaps. Wait, no, but that doesn't make sense still. I still don't know how he got shot. Because we have 2 guns and 2 bullets. And we know that one was fired at Sholmes by the brothers. So nothing pins it on him still, unless the brothers used Windibank's gun on him, I guess. Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windibank? No, never. I was just, looking out for me, bruv, weren't I? He was being flattened, don't forget. By a man whose shop was being burgled. Yes. And then the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him, is that it? Yeah, that's it. He shot me away, then ran off through that door and shut himself in. There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true. I wonder why Mr. Windibank ran into the storeroom. What? Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him, with a gun. Yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again? I have no idea. But that is strange, isn't it? This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it. Look, the point is me and me bruv here. That's right, Nash, that's right. Me and me bruv here. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all that happened, I swear. You say you had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, didn't he? Those eyeballs. Locked it was, on the inside. We know it was, we tried to open it. But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong. Wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Would indeed appear so. What say you to that, counsel?
I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could possibly have shot Mr. Windibank? I mean, there obviously must be, but do we have the evidence for it is the question. The thing that I'm thinking about right now is the autopsy report, right? That says instant death. I mean, how would that have even worked? Because, like, the idea that, hold on, wait. Not this. Let me pull this up. Hold on. I'm going to try to do something fancy here. Okay. This might not work. So if this doesn't work as like at all, then sorry. All right, hold on. What I'm gonna do here? We're just gonna line this up like that. Okay. Then narrow this down. Okay. And then chroma key. Chroma key. Well, yeah, I suppose I'll use green. Because that tends to be the normal thing, right? Green. Oh, this isn't working at all, is it? Why isn't this working? Did I not just... Oh, green. Green. There we go. Okay. So... Oh, this is going to be slightly difficult, but I promise you it's worth it. Brush. Okay. So, my thought here, okay, is that if the brothers are around here, right, and Windibank is here, perhaps they shot him like this, right, and they killed him through the door, like when he was shooting it, or, well, there was no door, like when, I guess the door must have been open still or something, but like this, I don't quite know how to figure this out, because like over up here in this direction, sorry, let me make this bigger. So over here by the door is where the other bullet was, right? So the brothers were here, basically, having been thrown over the counter and what have you. And what's-his-face ran over here. So Ginny must have already been knocked out, right? Because she was unconscious. But she had the gun in her hand. And I don't know why. But then again, if Windibanks' gun had been in his hand, and then the small one, Ringo, had taken it, and then Windibanks ran away, then he could have shot him, right? And the door wouldn't have been closed yet, but Ginny would have still been inside, and they could have knocked her out and then framed her, perhaps, with the gun. And then I suppose there is that, that hole in the door like that. Maybe they reached in and locked the door like that, and then we're about to leave when they did the rest of it, perhaps? I don't know. That's my thought, though. So we'll find out eventually how this all worked out. But anyway. So was there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly have shot Mr. Windibank? There could have been. It had to have been one of the brothers. Right? Mr. and Mrs. Skulkin. Yeah, what? What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you'd encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely. It did. What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Windibank? And is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. Hey look, he's going to do exactly what I just did. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which is locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect to the two conundrums. Two, my lord. Twice as many chances to be right, maybe? Indeed. Namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Understood, my lord. Are you alright, Muno? I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. Excuse me, I just inhaled some liquid.
So now, time for some clarity. Show the courtroom on this plan the answers to the question posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun.
Here, I think. From behind the counter.
Take that!
The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here.
And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time?
Here.
Take that!
Thanks for coming by, Mitsuri. Enjoy your dinner, or lunch, or breakfast. Hope it's good. I had Philly cheesesteak for dinner with some french fries. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom.
Continue.
Mr. Windbag died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired?
So you are adamant that the...
Wow, well, that was the wrong voice and a half.
So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony... I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room. If Mr. Winterbank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time. Look. It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. Yeah, go! Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial?
Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself.
Poor man. Shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety. Ah, of course. He would have been leaning forward as he's running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body on an upward trajectory. So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Winterbank.
I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock?
But, what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is someone else who could have locked the storeroom door.
Is that so? Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside?
Is it not obvious? It would be Gina.
Take that!
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room. For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel?
Yes, that's a tricky one, that, isn't it?
Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please.
But of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? It does. Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windibank were in the storeroom together. No, I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Windibank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom. Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv.
If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom.
Yes, it would. I bet you Windibanks gave her the gun for protection. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windibank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment? I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windibank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot no one.
Protection!
That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would, because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herrlock Shelms. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windibank's murder. Okay, wait, hold on. I have to go back on something I said before, though. If he had given Ginny the gun for protection, then we're still out a pistol, right? Go. We're still out of pistol, though, right? Ginny's holding one that fired somehow against something, but Sholmes was shot and Windibanks was shot. So where's the bullet for the revolver? Or was there ever one? That was amazing, Bruno. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now. I know. First time ever. And probably the last. Well, I think you've done it. Surely that took the verdict of not...
An admirable effort, my learned friend.
What's this now? He's laughing.
You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Cheeks. I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive.
Oh yeah, here it comes.
I dare say. Such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here.
What?
The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot, and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw.
A fatal flaw?
Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing?
I say, Lord Von Zakes.
Might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground, The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets.
Oh hey, he's on the same track I am.
By George, count bullets?
Oh dear. He noticed then. Huh? What's everyone talking about?
Counsel.
Yes, sir.
Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime.
2. 2 bullets.
Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herrlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene. Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar.
Lucky him, really.
Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windibank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun.
Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each.
Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herrlock Sholmes right before your eyes.
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness, I think you'll find that if the single bullet that was fired from the brother's gun hit Mr. Sholmes, it means...
Windibank not shot by same gun. Stop. Only 1 bullet. Stop.
Exactly. Yes. This Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny.
No.
Order! 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 Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery.
Lord Von Zeeks.
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can, regrettably, no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbroker on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print, which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present.
That disc.
I'll be taking out whatever's misgilded down in the yard, thank you very much.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is mine.
Well, I'm sorry, miss. Well, anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
Do we need to find out whose blood's on that? Yes, that music box sticks. Mr. McGilded's music box sticks.
The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windibank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence.
Good gracious.
Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that fact at its peril.
I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel, as a grim testament to the defendant's character. Lord Van Zeeks, I am.
Inspector Gregson? What?
Yes, Inspector.
We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and I think it was agreed that this disc would be used as evidence.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he's said anything to Van Zeeks at all.
I am unaware of any such meeting.
But those were the instructions. Right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent.
Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted.
Thank you.
The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord.
Indeed. Bailiff!
The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character.
Based? paste?
There's nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case.
Can I look at this? Can we get the blood color on this? Oh, Bruno, look! This is blood! This kind of takes the intensity out of the situation. Yes, you're right. Just a small spear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before. It's my time to shine again. Thought you wouldn't need forever. I'd hope to say with that disc, Bruno. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? In a flash. Green. Oh, we have green. Oh, a lovely bright shade again. Aha! That's the tall man with the white hat. With that collar. What is it? It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? No, it is not. I don't think this is going to have anything, right? I'm not going to read this one out loud because I don't think it actually matters. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is good to know. Green. Whoa, wait a minute. Huh? Wait, I am now very confused. The blood on this disc is green. Is the blood just blood type? Or sorry, is the green just like blood type or what? Because the person who marked their thumb on this, I could have sworn it was the Mr. Eggs Benedict man. But then that would mean that he was shot? Not shot? I'm now confused. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once, for all of 5 minutes. Oh dear, it wasn't even for 5 minutes from now.
My lord, what if I might say something at this point? Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been something about in a bit of fog up to now, the truth be told. But all of a sudden, the answer's barely obvious to me, my men. Only one thing for it.
Oh no.
Very well. The court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
We have a consensus among the jury, it seems. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Van Zeeks, that is Sherlock Holmes's line, not yours. That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us? Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winterbank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you or your other jurors ready?
Geared up squadron is primed and ready for action, sir.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty.
I like that we don't even have to request the second summation examination. The judge just knows we're going to, so he gives it to us. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens. There's only 2 bullets were found at the scene. I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it. Was that pickpocket?
I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. Could see him before a busy day ahead.
I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There's nothing I do not know about guns. It would seem there's little remaining room for doubt. Have to admit, I was rather bowled by the argument put forward by the chap in black. When that little bought like a house of cards, thought I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more.
The whole courtroom is turning against me. It's not fair. Iris, that prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done some things she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer. Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Sorry, shouldn't laugh when we're doing this voice. Here's to the truth coming out, eventually.
That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination.
They really went hard on the jiggle physics, honestly. Like the lip wiggles and the cheek wiggles and whatnot. Alright.
Hold it!
Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge?
I beg your pardon?
Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces, the greatest military organization in the world? No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or pickpocket is wrong and dangerous.
Oh, yes, might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget the girl had already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort through and through. Can't deny it.
When you say that she had it in her Sorry. When you said that she'd shown she had it in her, are you referring to this?
Exactly. Tried to swap that only a day earlier, Or am I mistaken?
Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that. I've never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it. Yes, of course. Mrs. Shelms did use his caramel bar to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? And then ordered every type of music box he could find from across Europe. We still don't know what tune it plays, though, do we? But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy. McGilded's desk. Would it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. There's only 2 bullets were found at the scene. I would say the whole case is done and dusted. It's the number of bullets that had you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asked me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. Well, that's logical, I suppose. Although, yes. Sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employee dine with thieves? So I suppose. If there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. A 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene. Could that be possible? I can't prove that yet, I don't think. I mean, he keeps his gun loaded, I suppose. I don't think I have anything that would indicate this. I'm going to say it's impossible for now. Unfortunately, only 2 bullets were discovered by the police during the investigation. Yes, I know. Right. I don't imagine the good men of Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. If I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office, well, I should receive a sound scolding, I don't doubt. And you should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. Sounds like a crime scene to me. Third bullet. It would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it? Do you think we might find one lying around somewhere? I don't know, the stereoscope might help. So, if I've understood correctly, you need two pictures. A left-eyed one and a slightly different right-eyed one. Exactly. Things either seen in 3 dimensions, like this. So, if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you could see anything useful with them. Think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, to the situation always looks the same here. The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock. How can you be so sure of that? Think about it. Skulker brothers shot the great detective, didn't they? Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice. Well then, surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it? This is a waste of time. Not going to change this man's mind anytime soon. But they didn't shoot him. Or rather, they did, but they didn't. Because the blood sample indicates that they didn't, right?
Hold it!
I guess without knowing how Iris's regents really work, we can't be sure. Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here. Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it's nothing to do with this trial, to be honest. Huh? I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. Oh, really? Quite inexplicable, don't you think? That... I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on... What was that fellow's name now? Herrlock? No, Herrlock? No, Herrlock? Herrlock Shums, by any chance. Yeah, good lord. It was that Herrlock fellow. What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Shums? That's right. Using the very latest anesthetic techniques, I might add. Fairly major op, I can tell you. This is crazy. Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They say they'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hand and just stitch the fellow back up. I hate to state the obvious, but... Yes? Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
The counsel for the defense is correct. As is clearly shown in this photographic print, the bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door.
Did it though? That trajectory looks all kinds of wrong, doesn't it? I think you'll find it really quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally.
Who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake. Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did. There wasn't a trace of injury. No sign the bullet had left the body at all.
Oh, shit, son.
What?
That's the point. The only logical conclusion with that bullet was still someone in the man's in it. Which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery? Was he actually shot? That must have misheard how this jury was put together. Okay, well there's a third bullet. Where's an expert when you need one? Oh, he's the the Russian man at the end. We're gonna get them to pit. What do you mean you're in for a busy day? Forgot to say, stop. Do excuse me, stop. I'm a communications officer, stop. A communications officer? Does that have something to do with sending telegrams?
Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news in the capital. I convert all messages into Morse code and tap it out to the entire world electronically. To the entire world. Thousands of miles of key and beyond the sea, stop. Worldwide communication network, stop. Information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe, stop. Yes. She was getting equally worked up over the radio waves or the like before, wasn't she? I specialize in communicating information from government departments and newspaper offices. I see. I'm sure I shall have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. There's no sleep for me tonight, I imagine. Let's just finish the trial first, shall we?
I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns.
I thought you were just a tourist.
Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
There's no way he's just a visiting tourist. So, you're a ballistics expert. Who knew?
I have much experience with guns.
Ah.
I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme, violent bath of, blood of,
Extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps.
Those extreme violent bloodbaths. English is very difficult tongue.
Considering the sort of people you associate with, surprised you still have a tongue.
Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know. No mystery I cannot solve.
He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure.
But, if possible, please, only Russian language.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he? No. Still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets. Gonzix has managed to convince everyone. When you have eliminated the impossible, he said, but he hasn't. If we're going to fight back, we need more material. And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. Heck yeah, we do. Alright, I know what I'm going to start with. The surgeon and the Russian.
Objection.
Those two wait, what? Oh, those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other. A ballistics expert.
Pitting. P-A-T-T.
On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there's no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either, furthermore. A bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6.
Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you.
This apparent contradiction, the fact that it's so closely troubling jury number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery?
I have seen very similar. I almost just said simulation. I have seen very similar situation in Muggleland. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold.
Golly.
The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very near and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and they were on dog sleds.
Mental note, don't ask too many questions.
I was shot from behind, and I fell down in the snow. And this situation was really similar to what I hear today from Doctor. They could not find bullet in my body, and no sign of, how do you say, exit wound.
Then, where did the bullet go?
Bullet never hit me.
But, well, if it never hit you, why do you fall down?
Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side.
What?
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from a lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound. It looks just like bullet wound. Good gracious. Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me, and that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
But that doesn't answer the question at all. The shooting happened in a pawnbroker's shop, not some snowy mountain road in another country.
Just an idea. But we may not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. You know. Where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt. A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in investigations. What? Really? Doctor, where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes is wearing?
Yeah, well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember. If I may,
Lord Von Zeeks?
while I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom.
Sorry.
As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Oh, thank goodness.
I was getting forgetful for a moment. Since then, it has been in my safekeeping, along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. Well, extremely unconventional during a summation examination. I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herrlock Sholmes' pouch.
It is so hard not to say, like, the real name.
I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it?
Look at that. One of the vials is broken, the leather out is scorched black. It's almost as if the vial exploded.
Exploded?
So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch. It was the glass vial exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. A delightfully complex aroma. Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least. Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Thank you very much.
Glad I could help.
Due to its bearing on the conundrum is solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy.
Now, the summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion,
Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue. And you can't afford to overlook anything here, Inosuke. There's still a way to turn this around. Somehow. I'm sure of it. Let's save since we just went through all that and got no evidence. Alright, let's examine this shit. Excuse me. Is that a bullet? It's really scorched badly just here. Oh, the strap is broken, look. This must be where the bullet hit then. Let me see. Yeah, right fucking there. Look at that. Look at that, a third bullet. What the? Iris, look. Behind where the broken vial was. Do you see it? That's the Skulkin brothers' bullet. What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is there were 3 bullets fired at Windbanks that night. We found exactly what that juror was talking about. The third bullet. Time to press that juror again, I think. Perfect. Is there blood on this? What is that? This is the bullet that was fired from the Squawking Brothers' gun on the night of the incident. Yes, so it turns out it never actually entered Hurley's body at all. Thanks to the thick leather pouch he was wearing, it saved him. Hurley's always lucky like that. Well, considering we had to go through the hospital, I wonder how lucky he really was. Oh dear, poor Hurley. Okay, so we don't care about the fact that it's like fucked up right here. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asked me how many were invited for dinner, I was told to come to table settings. Although, yes. Wait, sorry. I know one of the press scenes had the it's possible thing. Okay, is it this one? If there was another bullet somewhere which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. Allow me to show you, then, the 3rd bullet.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windenbeck's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired. What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch. What? This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before it was taken to the hospital, and since then has been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Squawking Brothers that night?
Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print.
Wait, so then if this is the white hat man, if it is Eggs Benedict's bullet, then he was in the shop prior, perhaps, around midnight? And someone shot at him? Maybe Gina? Ah! 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted to the court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Windenbeck, and that belonging to the Squawking Brothers.
An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. But that must mean... That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. Ugh. Ugh.
Order! 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 For this summation examination remains incomplete. The court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter!
What?
Bailiff! Bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. Witnesses.
Governor!
Were you listening to proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination?
We was, Governor, we was.
Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer this one question. A 3rd bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that?
Make of it, Gov. I don't make nothing of nothing.
Is it one of yours?
Go blimey, Gov. Go blimey. Not a chance.
In that case, did you have an accomplice?
What? Hey, never. The Squawking Brothers work alone. It's just the 2 of us. That's our trademark. How soon we forget poor Soki.
Only 2 of the bullet from the crime scenes originated from the firearms we have in evidence.
The third bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it?
I mean, that's a head scratcher.
Counsel for the defense.
Yes.
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The third bullet, and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came.
Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture. A picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this third bullet tells us about the Skulkin brother. I swear I can speak English. Okay, they had a secret accomplice. They had another gun. Or it's nothing to do with them. I mean, he is awfully nervous about it, and they did talk about a third brother. It would make sense for them to have another gun, maybe. Because then you could maybe argue that the short one shot Mr. Winnebank, while the tall one shot Mr. Sholmes. Accomplice? On the night at Winnebank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a third man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice. But the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present. Someone carrying a gun.
Objection!
An accomplice, you say? Pigsville. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time, there's been not a murmur of a third man, if this apparently wraith-like being exists. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence, that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this spurious character. The Skulkins are lying. I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding? With the blood.
Well, counsel.
I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demand, my lord, the defense is... The defense is ready. I believe I can prove all the answers the prosecution demands.
So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting.
I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference.
In that case, counsel, we'll ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene?
Honestly, it's this.
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in this portfolio.
By Jove, that portfolio again, is it?
Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of those blood samples proves the presence of this third intruder, but which one is it? I mean, both of these? But it's mainly this one.
What am I looking at here? The pieces of be some green paint, or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar.
That's a bloodstain, my lord.
A bloodstain?
Green blood. Curious, even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature?
It's something developed by Mr. Herrlock Sholmes. By the great detective. New invention. Stop. Not yet appeared in stories. Stop. It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger spray is a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color.
Different elements of people's blood.
Yes. Everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. So, by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtroom stock. Very exciting stock. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Winnebeck.
Ah, a striking blue.
Yes, so you see, the green color of this blood stain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop.
Now hold fire there, young man. Could be some unrelated incident, couldn't it?
No, it's not unrelated. The date shown on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Winnebeck was killed.
By golly.
Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day. Whose blood is it? Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder?
This man right here.
Take that!
The man's name is Eggert Benedict.
Eggert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel?
He paid a visit to Winnebeck's pawnbroker on the afternoon before the incident took place.
When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into leaving this article into her possession.
That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force.
Broker!
Yes, sir. I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes.
The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say... And he music boxed this too. Oh, he's totally sulky. The way he does the dramatic flair in those things. He must be the long-lost brother. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you corroborate this account, Inspector?
Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. In the interest of being thorough, I asked Winnebeck for a print showing the fellow. Take him for one of his red-handed recording substances. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Winnebeck that morning.
You claim this man is the brother's accomplice.
Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin? Never seen the geezer before in my life. All my life, Gov, all my life. Never seen him.
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion.
I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can. Then show us the evidence. I agree. We must see that. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is. This is the last piece of evidence. I had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, Counsel?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet.
Take that!
That proof is right here, in this portfolio.
Good gracious, Counsel. Does that portfolio contain the answers to every question posed?
I see you share my interests in clear-colored liquids, my Nipponese friend. But...
enough. The court demands to see further evidence.
Which blood sample proves the man you identified was the one shot by the third bullet at the scene of the crime? This one.
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Winnebeck's.
Which is when the aforementioned Eggert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no?
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred.
But of course, sir. Here's the disc for you.
Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute. That disc. It's mine. Ah. What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions cause Mr. Benedict's fingers to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now.
Goodness, a bloodstain is it?
My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom. Using my trusty fogger gun. Yes, and we added the results to this portfolio. I say, it's green! It's exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Eggert Benedict, who was in Winterbanks earlier in the day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night. So there was someone else there. Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets. Oi, what are you talking about? It's boiling here. My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Eggert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify.
It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
What are you objecting to, Zeeks?
This has gone on long enough. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law.
Herrlock Sholmes, you say?
Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court in the land. Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to you successfully proving that no other blood in the world would turn the same color.
Well...
Oh, the foot's out. And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it.
Is he right? Is Mr. Sholmes' concoction a load of rubbish? I don't know. I mean, he's a great detective. What are you talking about? We can't get away with that. I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention is going to be recognized by the official body. But what other choice did I have? Just remember what Father Christmas over there said before. About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief! What did you just say, young girl?
In a summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now. Yes, she's right.
Young lady, you're quite the devious mind.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Bruno. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable. Mrs. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with. Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
After that shrewd perception of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion. This is absurd. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings in this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you'll come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Hell yeah.
Guilty.
Oh, fuck you.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Oh, phew, thank you. Thank God for the Russians.
Two call guilty, four call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt.
I am sorry, Lord Francis, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue.
Ah! Ah! I wonder if he's going to rip off that badge at some point and throw it somewhere.
Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoint of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible.
What?
The name the gentleman gave for himself, Edgar Benedict, is quite clearly false.
I don't believe it. Just when I'd managed to prove the man was there that night. Could I say something?
Who was that, please? Who spoke?
It was me, my lord. Juror number 5.
What have you to say, madame?
If possible, Inspector. Me, ma'am. I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman is shown. Ah, right. Yes, this one you mean, of Mr. Benedict. Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. Juror number 5. You don't mean to say you know this man? Yes, I know him.
What? No. Good gracious. Order. 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 Juror number 5. How on earth?
I am a communications officer. Stop. As we can clearly see, the gentleman in the photograph is Stop. Also a communications officer. Stop. He works in my office. Stop. A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph. Stop. This doesn't seem right somehow. Can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right. Suppose we all imagine the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day. What if he gets up at night? Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If the gentleman is at a London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within an hour. Lord Von Zeeks, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary arrangement with all haste.
As your lordship bids.
The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witnesses arrive, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson.
Yes, my lord.
I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chamber during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
Damn. Man, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Good timing, too. Yeah, so I'm going to stop here for the night. That was good. Are we going to see the... Oh, no, we're in the defense antechamber. So, stopping here for now. Oh, you know, besides the hiccup on showing that Mr. Winterbanks didn't have a gun in his hand, because that just the evidence and the connection and everything just didn't pop into my mind, and having to resort to a guide makes me feel slightly bad. But you know, it was taking too long, and it's a stream, so can't have you just thinking I'm stupid for all eternity. Gotta make sure we continue with the plot. But yeah, this is good. It's like we knew that it was going to somehow tie into the characters that were introduced, right? But it is cool to see. I wonder if I'm going to be right about him being sulky or whatever the brothers think he is. Like the third lost brother kind of thing. Because he does do the dramatic movements like the Skulkin brothers do. But it's interesting that he's a communication officer. I assume this is also going to somehow tie in with the newspaper and the scandalous communications stuff going on that was mentioned in it. So that should be interesting. Huh. I wonder if the Hound of the Baskervilles will somehow be important to the case. Maybe not. It seemed like it was more relevant to the investigation parts and such with the story leading up to it. But yeah. Also, I do like how like so far the game, I wouldn't call it long, but like I kind of like that some of the investigation was like set up to the crime as opposed to the crime just happening, which is different. Yeah, which is different than the original trilogy. Most of the cases with the original trilogy were like the crime happened and now you figure it out, with maybe the exceptions of some of the ones in the later ones with like on the mountain and whatnot, where you go up there first and there's a bit of story beforehand. But this one had a fair bit of lead up, I feel, to the ending, so, or to the crime rather. Anyway, I'm gonna go for now because it's been 2.5. Well, not 2.5, but 2 hours and some change. And it's late, and I keep waking up early and having weird dreams and nightmares and things, so I would prefer to try to get some more sleep. So, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for coming by, everyone, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day, or night, whatever time it is wherever you are. And at some point, we'll go through these things like I mentioned before. But to cap things off, we'll just look at Iris's homemade suit, which looks quite silly. He looks like a Tales of Symphonia character with that on. He really does. Same with her. Like, they look like they could have stepped out of Tales of Symphonia. Him too. Anyway, have a good one, and bye for now. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, I still have a thing. All right. Oh, it's not working. Oh, that's why. Bye. Bye. See ya.